then are applying for an unrestricted all alcohol license. The City of Boston Licensing Board has recently released 10 unrestricted licenses, meaning that they can go to any neighborhood. In the past, licenses have been restricted to neighborhoods where they want more businesses, more restaurants, and these are unrestricted, meaning that a lot of the restaurants in the neighborhood that usually can't apply for the restricted one are able to apply to upgrade their beer, wine, and cordials license to an all-alcohol license, or apply for an all-alcohol license in general. And so the meeting's going to start. We have 7 applicants. We're going to stick to a 20-minute time frame for each, and the applicants will come up with their attorneys, or if they want to proceed, explain why they are looking to apply for an all-alcohol license, and then take questions first from abutters. I would ask that if you're an abutter taking a question or a comment, please explain your name and street address, and then open to the general public for questions or comments. So in the interest of time, we'd like to start. So I'm going to call the Cantina Italiana at 346 Hanover Street.
For us as well, good evening and thank you for coming tonight. My name is Bill Ferrullo. I have the pleasure of representing 6 of the 7 applicants that you're going to hear from tonight. I'm going to give you a little background first, which is general for all of these licenses, meaning it's an unusual circumstance that the City of Boston has the ability to grant all alcohol licenses as being available. What's that mean? The City of Boston has a cap on the number of licenses that they can give out at any given time. And the city has been at that cap for a number of years, which means that if you want a license in the City of Boston, you buy it from somebody else who owns that license. So the licenses we're talking about and the licenses that Maria mentioned as restricted, non-restricted, are the result of legislation that was passed a couple of years ago to award additional licenses in the City of Boston, both for new businesses and businesses that have licenses as beer, wine, and cordial that wish to upgrade them to an all-alcohol license. So the major difference to this is that it requires an application to the city and not a purchase from another license owner. So needless to say, restaurants all over the city are doing what we're doing here tonight, which is trying to get applications into the City of Boston in the hope of getting one of these licenses because of the fact that it's such a rarity to find a license with the city that you don't have to pay a substantial amount of money for. So I'm going to tell you a little about each of these restaurants and the people who run them. They all, in the case that we have with the 6 that I will talk about, they all have currently wine, malt, and cordial licenses for their service. The change would be that they are requesting to take all alcohol so that they can serve a full line of alcoholic beverages. The first restaurant sitting here is Fury Colella, and I'm going to be talking about this restaurant, Cantina Italiana, at 346 Hanover Street. That is the oldest restaurant in the North End. It was opened in 1931. Fury went to work there many years ago as a chef, purchased the restaurant 30 years ago, and he and his family have run the Cantina Italiana as well as Fury's, which is a little further down on Hanover Street. He runs the restaurant with his daughters, 2 of whom are sitting in the middle table at the back. It's a family business. If you're familiar with it, you can tell from being there. They are there on the premise day and night, running those businesses. The Cantina, from its founding in 1931, had an all-alcohol license. What had happened was, back in 2001, Fury had the opportunity to open a new restaurant on Hanover Street, as I said, called Fury's. At the time, there were no licenses at all available. So what Fury did was he transferred the license from Cantina to Fury's. And then he was able to find a license in the North End to purchase. And that was in accordance with, or in respect to the policy that had been set in the neighborhood of not going outside the neighborhood for a license for buying within the neighborhood. And since that time, 2001, it's only had a beer, wine, and cordial. Now, if you're familiar with the Cantina, or many of you are, it's been a favorite place for people to have functions, family events, graduations, first communions, and so on and so forth, because of the fact that there are 180 seats at the Cantina. But even though there's 180 seats, when you walk into the right, there's a small bar that only has 6 seats at that bar, so it's not concentrated on the bar, it's concentrated on the restaurant. Needless to say, with the change of the license away from all alcohol, the function business there has gone down over the years, and again, Fury made an attempt in 2007, I believe it was. When some licenses came available, he applied for a license at that time, but was not fortunate enough to receive one of the licenses that was available then. So he's applying now. As we're saying, what you should know about the restaurant is, as mentioned, it's a rather large restaurant, it's 180 seats, very small bar area, which is 6. The closing hour for this restaurant is 1 a.m. He's never had a violation in that restaurant. No, he's been there very well run, very well managed, and more importantly, it's really a community asset, we think, to somebody who's cared about the operation. So, needless to say, we will answer whatever questions you may have individually or in general about the licenses, and then we'll try to move on to another restaurant.
So any abutters, so anybody who lives within 300 feet of the property, please identify yourself and your address. If not, we'll move on to open questions. No abutters would like to speak? Okay. Would anybody in the community like to ask a question, give a concern, or a comment? Please raise your hand.
Hi, my name is, I'm not standing up, I'm just telling you ahead of time. I don't think anyone will have a problem hearing. I have to just say, I'm not into these liquor license things, actually, I hate them.
Wait, Marie, can you just
But I
identify
have to
yourself
say,
and your address? Just
did
your
I tell
name
you
and your
Endicott
address.
Street?
No, I
No,
don't.
I'm sorry, Endicott Street. And I just would like to add that Fury has an outstanding reputation, has been in, as you said, in the business, but it's gotta be maybe 40 years now, and I've met Fury, and I have to say he's earned the reputation that he has now, and having the full liquor license there at one time, I don't even know why he even has to go through this, to be honest with you, because he has proved himself to everybody in that immediate area that his place is not a place where there's riffraff or anything that anybody should be concerned about. If there was, I'm sure they'd be here protesting that they don't want it back. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Pat Mendoza on North Bennett Street. We support him. Very nice people.
Don DeSantis Unity Court. If anyone was close to being a riffraff, it might have been me. I was a bartender for Fury for 6 years during its heyday, and there was never, ever a problem there. And I strongly recommend and I would support this.
Mendoza, 7 Parliament District. I know Fury for many years, and I support him.
I'm sorry, I won't be able to see anybody. I'm Chrissy, I live at 20 Patterson Street. I actually, I worked for Fury and both Michelle and Trisha for a number of years as a bartender. And I can honestly say they're very, very responsible bar owners. Their liquor license should be returned to them. They run an incredible program. They're a very hardworking family. But moreover than that, they're very responsible with what they've been given. So.
Gary Pappas, 300 Virgin Street. I've also known Fury Colella for 35 years. I frequently eat at the cantina. I also used to bring a lot of people in there for functions, business, a lot of other reasons. Now they're somewhat reluctant to go there because of the lack of a license. Let's be honest, I mean, it's all got to do with money. You've got a restaurant that's 180 plus seats. To keep that institution viable, he should be re-granted a license. He's an outstanding member of the community. If you see what he does, feeding the elderly, other programs in the city, this man's just a model citizen of the North End. I'm proud to know him. Thank you.
Hi, Dave Gallagher, 188 North Street. I had a question about the licensing process, either for Maria or Bill. Can you explain to us, because I couldn't find any information on the city's website, as to what the criteria is for who's going to be awarded these licenses and what requirements they have to satisfy in order to be eligible to apply for these licenses?
Well, I wish I had that answer because it would make the process easier. Why do I say that? The process is simply defined as discretionary with the licensing.
Yeah, so I would just add the licensing board it's an independent body through the city, so they take all of these comments, all of these questions, and everything that the community says, as well as what the applicant has said, and they take it under advisement and vote the following day after the hearing. So.
Well, I assume there must be some, hard metrics that they're using to evaluate candidates, right? Because it's a free, unrestricted license. It's like a free Powerball ticket. Whoever gets these is getting a windfall. So, how is that determination going to be ultimately made?
So, are you asking if, like, based on number of seats, if they have a bar, how they set up
is there some
logistically?
needs basis that's placed into the application?
Everything is being done on a case-by-case basis, from my
But I'm
understanding.
not sure what that means.
That means that owners of particular establishments may have a track record that may be better than other applicants. There may be establishments that have applied in the past that weren't as lucky in 2007 to be granted an all-out, because you're right, it's, and the ones in 07 were restricted, right, Billy? Those are restricted licenses. These are, it is like hitting the lottery, to be honest with you, but it's a big city, and I would say that they're going to be distributed throughout the city, not just here in the North End. We just, fortunately or unfortunately, based on what you asked, we just a neighborhood that has a whole bunch of restaurants, and we have kind of a restaurant infrastructure in place. So that's why you've seen so many applicants from North End, obviously, but there isn't an answer to that question based on criteria. I mean,
Try to help a little more. There isn't any simple answer to it because it's a very vague process. The vague process says that the board, within its discretion, has to determine public need. So there's case law about when the only time the case law comes into effect has the board abused its discretion in making its decision. But it says it has very wide latitude in determining things such as effect on traffic, noise, size of the operation, type of service, reputation of the applicant, et cetera, et cetera. Is there a formula? There isn't a formula, meaning they awarded several licenses last week, two of which were these non-restricted. One was an existing establishment in the Back Bay. If I remember correctly, relatively small, 58 seats, I think, something like that. The other was a new restaurant that was still being constructed now in the South End, in the Ink Block. So, similarities, not many. Same is going to be here, is that we have some small restaurants, some larger restaurants, we have some very old restaurants, here next one, well, relatively new restaurant. We don't know what the magic is.
So the licensing board has indicated whether that they're going to favor new, smaller restaurants or established older restaurants or restaurants without liquor licenses or...
No, and last time they did not give reasons for giving or not giving a license. There was some, let's was a discussion, et cetera, that said that the restaurants that received them last time were larger white tablecloth service restaurants. Whether that was true or not, I never saw it officially along those lines.
So you said that 2 of the 10 unrestricted licenses were already awarded last week, so only 8 left for the whole city?
8 for the whole city.
Okay, thank you.
There's no guarantee that the North End will get a license.
We don't know whether we'll get any. You know, as I said, in 2007, I don't remember the exact number of applications that went in, but we had 2 awarded to the North End in 2007. And if I were to guess, it might have been 8, 10 applications that came from the neighborhood.
So are they just awarding them on a first come, first served basis?
Don't know that either. That's up to them to decide. On Wednesday, I look at the list. Wednesday, I believe there are 10 or 12 applications for these on Wednesday. The following Wednesday will be at least as many.
When was the filing deadline?
There's no filing that you can file whatever you want.
Oh, all right. Until the license is granted.
No, just for the record, just to say, Frank from Monica's 130 Sound Street, and it's not really a guarantee that you're going to become a Powerball winner after you get this license. That's just a theory to tell you. So it's maybe just an addition. The cordial license, there's a lot of the liquor companies now are aware of the cordial license, so they actually make vodkas that have different sugar volumes. So you could sell vodka under a cordial license, but some other vodkas don't fall, so you have to get a full liquor license. So, it's not that big of a change if you really look at it.
It's not a change in the business, but it's a windfall for the restaurant.
Whatever way you go,
I think it's a great thing. I mean,
No,
you're lucky enough to get one, why not?
that's I think what basically like.
Because they're unrestricted, right? You can transfer them or sell them if you want.
We're waiting to see the actual language that they come up with. If that's
Well,
what
that
they
hasn't
say.
been established.
This is a new piece of legislation. The licenses that we're talking about were not included in the original legislation. They were intended to be included. So the legislation was amended to include 5 licenses per year for 3 years. So these are the first 2 years.
Maria, is that right, that the licenses aren't specified as whether you can transfer or sell them?
I do not know the answer to that. I know that they're unrestricted, meaning that
Unrestricted means they don't have to go
they
to
don't have to
To
go.
the neighborhood.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
So it's unclear as to whether or not you can transfer or sell them.
Correct. We don't have an answer.
Any other questions, comments, concerns for the Cantina Italiana, 346 Hanover Street? Yes?
Yes, just one comment. My name's Mark Karen. I've been a patron at the canteen in both February for a number of years. And I'd just like to comment on the character of the family. The Colella family is an extremely reputable and very well-serving to the community and their patrons. In terms of expanding to a full liquor license, they conduct themselves in an extremely responsible manner. The restaurants are a pleasure to go to. You don't see young kids hanging out there, acting irresponsibly, and they wouldn't allow that in the first place. But it's a really, family atmosphere, and one that's very well received and like that. I couldn't say enough good things about the family.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce you to Joey DiPasquale. Is that Frank, I'm sure well known to most of you, wasn't able to be here this evening. Joey does a much better job anyway. The film job. In talking about the restaurant that we're here for, let me add a couple of things that I didn't mention before, but this applies again to the 6 restaurants that I am representing. And that is that for these restaurants, there is no request to change anything else about the restaurant. We're not changing the hours of operation, we're not changing the capacity, we're not changing the way it operates, etc. And we plan also in turning in the existing beer, wine, and cordial license that we currently have. So that will free up those licenses for somewhere else. But as far as windfall, people in this room that own these licenses have paid for these licenses for a number of years. So the fact that we're asking to upgrade is part of that process. So now I'd like to tell you about what we think is the newest restaurant in the lot then, and that is Mari. And Mari is 1-4 Mechanics Court, which is through the alleyway next to where the post office is in the back. It had been Ida's restaurant for a number of years. The Di Pasquale family that currently owns 5 other restaurants here in the lot then, as well as the Sal Maria, the Panaderia, and the Gelateria, all in the lot then, all, I'm sure, making all of us a little bit heavier from frequenting the restaurants and the rest of the shops. Purchased that and have spent a considerable amount of money in making it an eye-popping new restaurant. If you haven't been by, you should take a look at it. It really is a great-looking place. The restaurant now will have 98 seats. It's open. It's been open since the end of the summer. 49 of those seats are interior seats, and 49 of those seats are exterior seats, but are let's call it tented or closed so that they can be used except in the most severe of weather. Mari, which used to be on Richmond, is a seafood specialty restaurant. It is fine dining. It has a beautiful oyster bar where they serve oysters and raw products, crudo, etc. And it has received already wonderful accolades from the press, etc., as far as the operation. And as far as the operation, Di Pasquale Ventures is well known in the community. All you have to do is look at the restaurants that they operate, 6 in all top quality, fine restaurants, etc. This restaurant has a midnight closing hour. It doesn't have a bar per se. It has an oyster bar, but you can have drinks at the oyster bar. 6 of the seats are inside, 2 are on the outside. So of their 98 seating, 8 of those are at the oyster bar. They are relatively new in operation, as mentioned, but the Mari brand is stated before, has been going on for a number of years at the Richmond Street location before coming to this location. Once again, we offer to you that the Di Pasquale family, as many of the restaurateurs in this neighborhood, live within a block of all their restaurants. The entire family, Frank and his wife, Joey and his sister, live at 44 Prince, are here all the time. You see them day and night in these restaurants, and again, we think they're very well run. We think they're quite eligible for this upgrade, and it'd be a wonderful spot to be able to have all alcohol service. So, other than that, we'll answer any questions that you may have. If you want to know about the restaurant itself or anything else.
I'm going to start again. Any abutters, questions, comments, concerns? Please raise your hand, state your name and address.
Hi. Okay. My name is Nino. I know all these applicants in this list, they're all great operators, so I'm going to raise my hand a lot. I've known the Pasquale family for 30 years. Great operators as well. Amazing. Mari is a beautiful place, and I also support Mari for them to know. I wish everybody would get a license personally. There's only one ticket for the slaughter. That's what everybody's calling it. So I support Mari as well.
And on behalf of those guys in Marshall, we support these guys. They're great guys. They've always been really nice to me and my brothers, and always great to my mother. When we first came to this country. We'll never forget that. I think they should get it. It's a great spot. It'd be a shame if they don't get it, because it goes very well with the space and the location.
Old open to be carried?
Lisa Bowley from Third Street. I think, Frankie, all of his establishments are well maintained. We've never gotten any complaints. I think he's the finest businessman I've ever known, other than my brother. That's what you wrote.
Thank you.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Michelle Morgan from Free Street. We definitely support my wonderful family, so generous to the entire community. Fine, I'm seeing your evidence around. Definitely.
No further questions, Bill?
Again, thank you. Let me introduce two other folks who kind of heard from this evening. To my left is Pat Mendoza. To his left is Frank Mendoza, two of the three Mendoza brothers. Josh couldn't be here tonight, who run three businesses in the neighborhood. The fact that there's multiples tells you something about the way the businesses run. They well run, that's why they're popular. The businesses in question, Vinoteca di Monaco on Richmond Street, Brother George is there running that restaurant. Tattaria that we're going to talk about here on Prince Street, and the Mercato, which is on Salem Street. Again, it's easy for me to say, as I have for other folks, we invite you to see these places. They're lovely restaurants, beautiful store, all family operated. If you haven't seen these guys, then maybe you just haven't walked around the neighborhood enough. They're there every day. They work hard. Pat's in the kitchen at the Tattaria. Frankie spends time going to the Tattaria and Mercato. We recently were approved to expand the space. Trattoria was originally one storefront on Prince that was rather small. The restaurant that used to be Sage next door transferred hands several times and then went out of business. And we were able to lease that space, and the city approved us to expand the restaurant from one side to include the second side, and have 49 seats. This restaurant is rather small, closes 11 o'clock weeknights, 12 o'clock on the weekend, has no bar, doesn't intend to put in a bar in the restaurant. Probably aware it is very popular, wonderful food, great menu. It has been for a number of years, and it's a real neighborhood restaurant that's frequented by folks in the neighborhood as well as visitors, etc. They're hoping again, as the past applicants, to have the opportunity in the course of renovating the restaurant to upgrade the service from beer, wine, and cordial to all alcohol. It would be good for the business. It won't make any changes in the way the restaurant operates, as mentioned before. We're not going to change the hours, we're not going to change the service, and we'd like your support to be one of the successful applicants.
Okay, going to open it up to any butters.
Oh, sorry.
You'll get your Michael. Yeah.
Michelle Morgan from Free Street. We definitely support those brothers. Wonderful establishment, food, never a problem. He lives literally next door at 61 Front Street.
Thank you.
Marianne?
Marianne D'Amato, 13 Noyes Place, and I just want to let you know I'm in full support of the Mendoza brothers. They're great neighbors, and they do what they say they're going to do.
Any other direct butters? Prince Street, Salem.
Well, I have Michael, 126. Hi, it's Michael Delia, 126 Prince Street. I've known Frankie and Paco since I was 3 years old. They're two of the best guys I know. They have fundraisers for one of the schools in North End. They host barbecues for the kids here all the time. Places are clean, spotless. Just a great guy. They deserve it. Thank you.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, yep.
Sorry, just agree with everything that's been said on this.
Sure, and your name and address?
Troy Buscemi, 1 Norris Place.
Yeah, Matt Genatasio, 57 North Washington Street. I agree, full support for these guys. They're part of the community. They do a great job with their establishments, and you always see them around, and we need to support these folks.
I just want to wish them goodbye, guys. I know you guys, all my life, you guys sound hard work with me right now. Good luck to you guys.
Rocco Grasso, 59 House Street, and also on Rocco's Barber Shop on Salem Street. Known the Mendoza family for about 30 years. Wonderful family. Hard workers, and I have their full support.
Dan Latanzi, 3 Western Place. So I've known these brothers for many years. I actually had the opportunity to start working for them and with them right after my mother passed. This speaks to their character. They're absolutely incredible. The way they treat their employees, their staff, their patrons is second to none. I know it's been said, Michael mentioned how much they give back, but I saw that firsthand, how much they give to the neighborhood, to schools, places like the Cesaro Center. So I couldn't think of a better group of people to support. We'd love to see them continue their success with the addition of a liquor license.
Any general residents, community members?
Oliver Madden, live at 64 North Margin Street. Known all 3 of the Mendoza brothers for about 5 years now. I worked for them for 2. My brother works there now, so I know from the inside out how good of a business they run, hard workers, and also, as mentioned a couple times, strong contributors to the community, not only for historic residents, but others like myself who moved into the North End later in life. Profound impact, and part of the reason I've become more engaged in the community now as a recent movement.
Thank you.
What I should have mentioned, just so that the recording is got to mention, all of the Mendozas live right here in the neighborhood. Nearly all of their employees live here in the neighborhood. I think it speaks to what that means to the neighborhood. It provides income during the storms last year, this year. One of the few stores that was able to stay open. You said with the roasted chicken or pizza, etc. during the storms. And a total of 10 children.
Yeah, that's another thing. Since Bill just mentioned we are being filmed, so they will be seeing this. For the record, I live 15 steps around the corner from the store. Pat lives right on North Bennett Street, and my brother George lives on the street. There is no desire to do anything wrong to that corner or attract any sort of bad thing that maybe, that maybe some people are afraid of with the liquor license. We're not all about that. I'm not in the bar business. I don't tend to be in the bar business. I just want a little something to go hand in hand with the trattoria. Me, Patrick, George, we were raised very European. My father always had a scotch and soda before dinner. It wouldn't be bad to be able to have that for our customers. Yeah. So there's no desire to have a bar or any late hours. We work plenty as it is, so there's no desire to work any later. And just thanks for all the support. I really appreciate all of it. Always. Thank you.
The Monica restaurant is right next door to me, and I've been with you guys a long, long time. So I really support you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Make good time on that one, just so thank you guys.
So much, so much. Thank you, Bill. Yes, they're all good.
Our next restaurant, we talk about this Pizzeria restaurant. owned and operated by Phil Fragoroli, who's seated here to my left. Phil opened this restaurant in 2009. As I mentioned recently in the hearing, he was literally born into the restaurant business. His father was Filippo, who started his first restaurant in East Boston before moving the restaurants into the North End, where he operated Lucia's on Hanover Street and Filippo's next to Ducali on Causeway Street. The family has been, again, part of the fabric of this community, both living here, having employees from the neighborhood, and running restaurants in the neighborhood, inclusive of his uncle Donato, who also operates a restaurant in the North End, his aunt Nancy, who operates a restaurant in the North End, and his cousin Nick, who operates in what we like to call a restaurant in the North End on North Washington Street. So I'm thinking it's North Station, but we like to think of it as being the North End. And again, people whose passion is hospitality, people who provide wonderful service and great restaurants. Ducali is a restaurant that if you have been in, you would notice. If you haven't been in, you should. It feels like the neighborhood, but it also feels like you may be in a neighborhood in Italy. It's designed that way to have a more informal sort of setting, someplace you can just drop in, have something light to eat or have a full meal, enjoy your evening talking with friends in a very casual atmosphere. It's been very successful there, and again, primarily a neighborhood restaurant that's both operated and patronized by local folks in the neighborhood. It currently has beer and wine service. It has a capacity of 58. There is a bar. There are 11 seats at that bar. As most of you are familiar, as with most of the restaurants in the neighborhood, if not all, the bars are really dining areas as part of the restaurant. They don't operate as bars that you might be thinking of in some restaurants that you go in and just sit there and have drinks. Most of our restaurants cater to food, as does Ducali. It caters to, as I say, very local patrons that we believe enjoy that atmosphere. And again, we think that we meet the criteria, as mentioned before, that I gave. The decision-making process is one that we won't find out, but I think Phil is the type of owner-operator, again, that's committed to the restaurant, is there, the family is committed to the neighborhood, is here. Phil is walking distance to that restaurant and knows exactly what happens at all times. So with that, we submit and would like to support Phil's application for one of these upgrades.
Phil, closing hour?
His closing hour there is 1 a.m.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to any butters. First, questions, comments, concerns?
Rosemary McCall, 61 Prince Street. And I just want to say that Mr. Federal is very responsible restaurant owner, and he does a good job on Beef Filippo and the one on Hanover Street. And I know he would really benefit if he had this additional license.
Okay. Any more butters or community members? We can open it up.
Pat Mendoza, 31 North Bennett Street, in Antigo Forno. That's very nice.
Frank Mendoza, we support you guys. They're a great family, hardworking people. It's a way of almost these licenses reflecting the people that we are. You see, we're all very European, so I think it goes very well with your establishment. So I think it's should be granted.
Hi, Michael Galea, 126. Phil's a good guy. He's a member of the best piece in the North End, St. Anthony's. And he deserves it as well. I wish they had like 10 for everybody, but they don't. Good luck.
Maria back here.
Yeah, sorry.
Brett Roman, 27 Cleveland Place. Known Phil for the past couple of years. Work for him right now at Tukali. Great atmosphere. He's a great owner. Love working for him. He's very responsible with everything. Make sure that we're all respecting the rules, abide by everything. Perfect.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
Sure. One nice place, same as everybody else.
Thank you. Alright, next up is Stregas Restaurant at 379
Nick Verano actually was delayed in his arrival to get in here. Flight delays, so he sent his sister as his representative, who keeps him on the straight and narrow. Let's talk about the restaurant. The Verano Group operates 3 restaurants in the North End. One we're going to talk about, the original, called the original because it was the first of the Stregas restaurants. Nico, that's a little further down on Hanover, and next door to Stregas is Rena Pizzeria. In addition thereto, Nick also operates 3 other restaurants. One is in Woburn, Stregas Prime. One is on the South Boston waterfront, Stregas Waterfront, and the newest one is in the Hot Plaza Hotel, Stregas Strip. Nick has operated on Hanover Street now for just over 11 years. He originally managed the restaurant for the prior owner, and then he purchased it just about 10 years ago. Stregas has become brand being someplace to go, have a wonderful evening, have some great food, have a good time, and enjoy yourself, while at the same time not break the bank in terms of what you spend. Can't say I'm so much of Stregas Strip, but for the rest of the restaurants, you know, again, extremely well reviewed, very active restaurants, very business-like, and very much in favorable in terms of critical review by magazines and newspapers, and people just go. Stregas is, again, Italian dining. It has 54 seats. It has an extremely small bar that has 5 seats to it, and its closing hour is 11 p.m. 7 nights a week. Mentioned it's been there now under Nick's management 11 years, ownership for 10, and Nick is also hoping that he can take his license to the level where he can serve all alcohol. I would point out that Stregas Waterfront, Stregas Strip and Park Square, Stregas Prime and Woburn all have all alcohol licenses, and again, very popular, well received, but not problems in their neighborhoods or the locations in the cities that they're in, both Boston and Woburn. So we'd like to support his license as well.
I'm going to open it up to any butters, questions, comments, concerns. If there are no butters present, I'd like to open it to any community members, residents, questions, comments, concerns.
Patrick Mendoza, 31 North Bennett Street, and I support Nick.
Likewise, Damien DiPaolo, One Latra Place. I actually support everyone on this, so we should all get these licenses.
I support that.
Same here, but I can't take part in business lunches or dinners if there's not a fully cooked. I have to need you rules.
Frank Mendoza, total support.
Yeah, we're just going on a case by case, but there's 8 available. Yes.
Got it.
And Maria, your name and address for the record.
It's, you know that. It's Maria Renzo, 35 Street.
We're assembling, Senator, point out these envelopes in front contain petitions signed by hundreds, I guess by the time we finish, it's going to be thousands of individuals who support these applications, to give you some sense of a sense of people who patronize these restaurants, thinking that this is a good idea, as much so as we do. So that is one of the important elements of doing this for the licensing board, is understanding not only what residents, and residents always count because you're closest to it, but also the folks who come to the restaurants and patronize.
Thank you, guys. We're going to get started again. Calling the next application, Antigo Forno at 93 Salem Street, with the subsequent transfer of malt wine and cordials license to the Dula Inc. Cafe Little Italy at 178 Salem Street. Attorney Daniel Toscano.
Thank you, Maria. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. For the record, Daniel Toscano. We're in office at 15 Broad Street, Suite 610. To my immediate left is Carla Gomez, who all of you may know from the neighborhood. Carla is the owner and operator of Antigo Forno and other restaurants in the neighborhood, such as Terra Mia, Cobblestones, and Cafe Little Italy on Salem Street. Carla's been in the business for many years. Antigo Forno opened up approximately 23 years ago. I think Terra Mia was probably before that, maybe 25, 26 years ago. Cobblestones was operating for a couple of years, and also Little Italy Cafe has been operating for about 5 years now in the North End under Carla's operation. We're come today to respectfully request your support for an all-alcoholic license. And you look around the applicants that we've seen come before us, I mean, they're all good candidates. They all run great businesses here in the North End, all contribute to the community to make this community one of the best communities, not only in the city of Boston, but also throughout the Commonwealth. And Carla certainly does her part to contribute to making this community one of the best. Carla has an Antigo Forno. It's approximately 3,500 square feet of space. 2,000 of it is operated with the restaurant, and 1,500 is in the basement for storage. The 2,000 square feet, first floor has kitchen, a dining bar with 12 seats, and an additional 80-some seats in the dining room, total of 98 seats in the establishment. Carla is operated with a beer and wine and cordials license for all this time. She would love the opportunity to upgrade that to an all-alcoholic license. She applied at one point a number of years ago when a few of them came available in the North End. Unfortunately, Carla was not one of the recipients of that liquor license. She hopes to have the opportunity to get one at this particular opportunity because they're very limited. Carla runs a lunch and dinner, full dining experience. It's one of the busier restaurants here in the neighborhood. Well-established business, and I believe with the all-alcohol license, it's definitely a need for many restaurants. Many customers come into the neighborhood, come to dine at her establishment, and they all look for a drink. People want to have a drink before dinner. People like to have a drink during or after dinner. Carla, the closing hours for the application is midnight. However, Carla usually closes early, like most of the restaurants here in the neighborhood. If it's not busy, it closes, especially during the winter time. So for Antigo Forno, certainly, I think Carla, her character meets one of the requirements for the licensing board. Character speaks for herself. She contributes a tremendous amount to the neighborhood. She's a great business owner, no violations, and the need for this particular location at Antigo Forno, the type of cuisine that's served there, people have for many years would like the full alcohol license there. She'd love to be able to serve the full liquor. Which leads me to what happens to the beer and wine license that's currently there. Carla owns and operates Cafe Little Italy, which is located at 178 Prince Street. It's really Salem Street. It's a really one floor cafe serving sandwiches, fresh muffins, croissants, but we want to transfer the license there. There was a licensed establishment for a number of years. At some point, the license was sold and transferred outside the business, and then Carla purchased it for 5 years and been making this a striving business. We believe that beer and wine and cordials will be a tremendous asset to this particular location. Although this particular location does serve many residents, it's a great place for the residents to go, but it's also a great place for our tourists to go. And we talk about what tourists want. They have a sandwich, an Italian sandwich, an Italian muffin. Some folks love a glass of wine, they love a glass of beer to go along with an Italian sandwich. Carla currently closes at 6 o'clock at that establishment. The license transfer, we would keep the license. The license closing hours is 1 o'clock. Sure, we're flexible with the closing hours, but she's been closing at 6 o'clock. It doesn't have no negative effects on the community, especially Carla. Someone looks like it's Carla operating the establishment there. It does operate Terramia and Cobblestones. Once again, no problem. Clean establishment. She puts all her hard earned money into these establishments. You see how nice they look, and she would certainly hope that this community would support the transfer and the all-alcohol license.
Open it up to any questions, concerns, comments from the butters.
The Agrippino family has always been a
Danny
Di Paola, Latro place. That great family. They care about the neighborhood. And as I said, everyone that applied for this deserves a license, and certainly Carla does. She runs a great restaurant.
Frank Mendoza, on behalf of the Mendoza family and Monica, we're total supporter of them getting the full liquor license and the transfer of the license. They're great people, great family, and always been kind to me and my family. So we're totally in support of them receiving and transferring their license.
Rosemary McCall, 61 Third Street. Carla is a very responsible restaurant owner, and she runs a wonderful restaurant that she has, and I certainly support it.
Michelle Morgan, 61 Third Street. Definitely supporting Carla for all of her community charity activities as well. The restaurant is fine. And the clientele that you attract, very family oriented, lots of little children going there. Wonderful. And the young people, very well.
I support Carla 100%. Carla, good luck.
Thank you.
Great operator, know it for many years.
Same, Michael, Melina. You and my support, colleagues, are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Mention it also with this one on Washington Street and support as well.
Down even on Salem Street. Carla is a lifelong resident. She was born and raised here. She runs her establishment very well. I do work for her, and I also live across the street. And she takes care of her restaurant. She's very considerate to the residents. She does a lot of charity work. I would love to see her get a full liquor license and also transfer her beer and wine up to her other restaurant on Salem Street. A lot of people do like to have a little babies or whatever with their coffee in the morning with some pastry, and I see a great need for it.
Marianne D'Amato, 13 Noyes Place, and I'd like to also give my support to Carla. I've only known her a couple of years, but she's a good person.
I support Carla very much. Thank you for, especially for what she does for the diabetic population. She is a remarkable business. I support her much. Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, comments?
I just want to point out before mentioning one nice place that these businesses are losing business because they have to take business meetings outside of the neighborhood, because other businesses that have a full liquor license are booked. So business meetings and corporate events have to meet because you can't get your clients and legal alcohol storage.
of the state. Again, last restaurant of the evening is Kaminas. Damian DePaula, who is seated to my right, owner-operator, family owns that property, has owned it for a number of years. Had been Damiano's, also operated by Damian, now Kamalinas, serves lunch and dinner, fine dining in the evening, and rather small, one of the smaller of the restaurants. It has 38 seats. It has midnight closing. There is no bar. There's a couple of seats at the counter at the cooking area, but it doesn't work as a bar per se. Current service is in the other restaurants is beer, wine, and cordial. It's mentioned, and I'll allow Damien to talk more about not only the restaurant that he currently operates, but he's operated restaurants for a number of years. Also Kamalinas in the western part of the state. Wonderful reviews, great restaurant, well run. And once again, not only is Damien in the restaurant, he has the pleasure of living just 2 flights up in the very same building, so he's fully responsible for what goes on at that restaurant. This restaurant has never had any type of violation or other situation. It happens to be probably in the very center of Hanover Street, probably the most traveled block of the street. As such, it's popular, it's a pleasant area to both visitors and locals come to sit there and have their dinner or have lunch in the afternoon. Damien will give you a little background about his history in the business as part of what he does there and what he would like to do with this license.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. My history in the North End began in 1967 when my father opened up Cafe dello Sport on Hanover Street, which is where Kamalinas is now. I opened my first restaurant when I was 21 years old in 1985. That was in the 5 College area, UMass Amherst. I've been in the restaurant business since then for myself, continuously. And I just would appreciate everyone's support. I run a good restaurant, it's a clean restaurant. I also run another good place on Salem Street, Vito's. We're good neighbors, we clean, we scrub sidewalks, we remove other people's trash. We look out for our neighbors, as does most everyone that's in this room. And I feel that it would be a great thing if we could get these licenses into the North End, because we are all responsible. We're not people that are coming here out of nowhere and opening up restaurants with no commitment to the neighborhood and to the families in the neighborhood and to our friends and guests. Very responsible. We don't have drunk people. We don't have crazy times in the place. We run a good restaurant, and I would appreciate everyone's support. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to open up questions for butters first. Questions, comments, concerns. If no butters, I will open it up to residents.
Frank Mendoza, on behalf of Monica's and the Mendoza family, we totally support Damien. He's applies for a full liquor license. He does a great job. He's cleaned up a lot of storefronts in the area. He's surrounded by other restaurants that have full liquor license, so I know it would be a great addition to him, his business, and his family. He owns the property. He should definitely get the full liquor license. 100% support.
John Natali, 161 Salem Street. I completely support Damien. He's a great restaurant operator. I've been here my whole life. I'm only 26, but him and his family are a huge cornerstone of my father coming here and migrating to the neighborhood. And they've been here for 50 years. So completely support. My whole family's here. They'll share too, and that will support him.
Yeah, Marie, can I say something before? Maybe you guys are, since you work in the city, you should consider that maybe saying it to these guys how connected we are. Like you just said, we helped this family for almost 50 years to come to this country. Yeah. It's a great group of people trying to get these licenses. I hope every one of us are able to get it. And if not,
I wish at least one of us were able to get, to be a great addition.
I have 7 pages of notes here.
No, I hope the city will take that into consideration. We have you know, 7 great families who are just trying to better themselves and trying to make it better their business. It's not a guarantee that we're going to become millionaires after we get the licenses. Probably get a few more headaches, but other than that, you know, it's a good addition to the neighborhood. You're going to have really good people who are trying to get it.
Shop 1161 French Street. We support them. Beautiful establishment, lovely right there, as you said. One of the busiest spots there in the whole nation.
John Faucio, full support for Damien. Just like all these other guys are part of the neighborhood. They've been here for years and they care. That's a huge, huge thing.
Damien's a great operator, 100% support. I wish you the best. Good luck. It's a great group of people applying for this license again. Everybody, cut us one, it would be one for each one. And welcome my friend.
Michael Delia. Damien's a very, very nice guy. His establishment's extremely clean. You can probably hear on the sidewalk. So I support him.
Michael Grasso, I also support Damien. I love my friend.
Well, we got Rupino. 100% support for Damien and everybody else that applied for the license tonight. Damien runs a first-rate establishment, and most everybody else in there. Hopefully, maybe everybody can get this thing.
Okay, hands in the back.
The Santos Unity Court, I support Damien and all of the 7 families. I'm not here, but I do support them all, and it's wonderful for the neighborhood.
Pablo, I'm in support of Damien. We're on the same street with our businesses. I see him a lot. He does a great job. He's a good guy, and he's very charitable, and he deserves it as well.
Hi, Cantina Italiana, 161 Salem Street. I'm in full support of Damien and the other Class A owners. As my brother said, they have a huge impact on our neighborhood, and I have to say, I think we live in the best neighborhood in the world, and I think if we can keep all these licenses here, I think that's important for the city to know. We don't want it to be Little Italy in New York City that's disappeared, so it would be really wonderful. But full support of Damien and others.
Derek Kozowski, 161 Salem Street. First and foremost, supported everybody who's in there, the 7 families. Damien has not only helped support Tina and I, so to reciprocate that, I give my full support not only to Damien but to everybody in here. And like Frank Mendoza said, everybody looks out for one another. Not only do they talk the talk, but they walk the walk on that too. So I just want to say thank you very much for supporting. So good luck.
Thank you. Can I just request we stop using 7 family people events on as the headline in the bulletin?
They should be proud that it's 7 families.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it all comes, their life.
Competition.
I support it. It's a good restaurant. Yes.
Anybody else?
Sure, I'll have a drink now.
Okay, well, like I said.
I wanted to point out that these guys are working all day, all night, 7 days a week, and they're losing business to other neighborhoods in Boston because you can't, who wants to drink just wine and beer.
Thank you. Okay, well, like I said, I'm going to stick around in case we have any other community members who have questions or comments about the 7 restaurants that we see. But thank you all for being here on time and being engaged in the community and attending this meeting.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.